Yeah, Vishnu, we can start.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So, in our last session, we have seen how we have created an Active Directory domain controller, and we have also seen how to join a server, that is component server, to a domain member, right? So, in today's session, we are going to discuss about a digital vault. So, how we are going to implement a digital vault server, uh, which is the main component of CyberArk solution. Okay, so let me bring up my screen. Hope you guys can able to see my screen. So this is vault server, the plain vault server, Windows operating system. Okay. So yesterday we have seen what are the server specifications, that is hardware requirements for installing or implementing CyberArk solution. Okay, so based on the scale of implementation, mid-scale, small scale, mid-scale, and large-scale implementation. So how this scale of implementation is categorized? So this is based on the number of privileged accounts that organization, a particular organization is going to manage. It depends upon the number of privileged accounts existing in an organization. So how many privileged accounts that the organization want to manage. So based on that, we are going to categorize this scale of implementation. So based on the scale of implementation, CyberArk has given us, this is the RAM size, this is the number of memory allocation that needs to be there for small scale, mid scale, and large scale, 64 GB, 256 GB, etc. based on the scale of implementation. So we have to follow those server specifications whenever we are going to implement CyberArk in any project. Okay, right. So now, what are the software prerequisites? Let me go back to specifications. So this is cyberarkdocs.com. These are the specifications that we have seen, hardware requirements. Okay. So now, yeah, see here, supported platforms. We can install this vault server on Windows operating system or 2016 or 2019. 2012 is outdated, so 2016 or 2019. Supported for different environments, that is primary vault, secondary vault, DR vault, cluster vaults, and distributed vaults. And we can also use 2016 servers. Now, software requirements. Okay, so what are the software requirements that are required before installing the vault server? The software requirements are, we need Microsoft C++ packages, redistributable packages on that particular Windows machine that we are going to install. And also we need Microsoft .NET framework based on the operating system that we are going to install. Let us say we are installing on 2016 operating system. We need .NET Framework 4.5 or 4.8, which is the higher version. So in order to install the digital vault server, we need this .NET framework, Microsoft .NET framework to be installed on that vault server. So without this .NET framework, our vault server is not going to be installed. This is the major prerequisite, software prerequisite that is required on the vault server. Okay. Usually Windows team or Wintel team will configure this Microsoft .NET framework on the vault server. If not, we can also do it from our end, right? So that is the software requirement. Next, what is required? So we need to get a software package from CyberArk, okay, from CyberArk sales before implementing any project. Okay, what does that software package contains? So that software package, CyberArk software package contains the server software's installer packages, that is Vault, CPM, PWA, PSM components, whatever we are going to install. Along with that, we need to have a two CDs. We will receive a two CDs. We call it as operator CD and master CD. I repeat again. We will receive two CDs from CyberArk sales before implementing any project. So that contains operator CD, master CD, and a license file. These are required for installing, for implementing the CyberArk product. Operator CD, master CD, and license file. Okay, so now I'll show you what does that operator CD, how it looks like, what does it contains, uh, and master CD, what does it contains. Okay. So this is the software package. Okay. Privileged access manager self-hosted 13.2 version. Okay. We are going to implement 13.2 version. That is the latest version. So inside core pass, we have these softwares. Okay. So central policy manager, this is the software package of CPM, and PVWA, password vault web access, software package of PVWA. So if I open this, inside we'll have the software package, and similarly PSM for SSH, PTA, and Vault. Okay, so if I open the Vault server, so again inside Vault we have these packages. So the main software in order to install the Vault server is, that is server. Okay, so server in the sense that is a Vault server package. So in order to install the digital Vault server, we need this software installer package. And along with this, we need licenses. Okay. So inside licenses, let me show you. So this licenses contains operator keys and master keys. The name shows demo operator keys, demo master keys. Okay. This is for trail purpose. It was labeled as demo keys. Okay. So we need to get these CDs, operator CD and master CD, from CyberArk sales representative for that particular project. And then once these packages are in place, then we can go ahead and install our digital vault server on a Windows operating system. Okay, so let me open this piece. Right, I have extracted this keys. Let me open the operator keys first, operator CD. So this operator keys or operator CD contains three files. Okay, recovery public key, random database file, that is that file, server.key. Okay, so this operator keys contains three files, that is recovery public key, server key, and random database file. So this is the database file that is common in both the CDs. Okay, so now I will open the master keys. Okay, I want you guys to observe both the keys and tell me what is the difference that is existing between operator keys and master keys. Okay, observe carefully. Right now we are in operator keys. Operator keys contain server key, recovery public key, and random database file. Now let me show you master keys. Right, so we are in master CD now. Master keys contain recovery public key, random database file, server key, recovery private key. PRV means private key. What is the difference that you observed, guys? Between operator CD and master CD, what is the difference? Any one of you?
There were three keys on the operator one, and here is four types of key.
Yes, yes. What is common between the master keys and operator keys?
Server key,
Server key, yes.
the
What are other
private
two files?
key,
I'll go back again to operator keys. Observe carefully, recovery public key, server key, database file. And if I go to master keys, I can see the same recovery public key, random database file, and server key. So the
Private
difference,
Recovery private key.
very good. Recovery private key. What does this recovery private key do? So what is the difference between this operator CD and master CD? Let me explain you that first and then we'll discuss on this case. So in order to install the digital vault server, we need operator keys. We definitely need operator keys. So in that operator key, CyberArk is going to use the recovery public key and server key. Server key is required, that is must and should, mandatory for installing the digital vault server. So that's why we need an operator CD. So that operator CD contains this recovery public key and server key. That is mandatory for installing the vault server. We'll see while implementing the vault how we are going to use this server key. Okay, operator CD. Whereas master keys or master CD contains the same keys, but we have an extra key called recovery private key. Recovery private key will be there in the master CD. Okay, so master CD is required or master keys are required in case of emergencies when we need to log into the vault server. Okay, so after installing the digital vault server, if we want to access the digital vault with the master account, there will be two accounts that will be created during the installation. We'll see in the practical now. Okay, so that master account, if we want to log in with the master account in case of emergencies, then we are going to use these master keys to recover the vault. That is, with the help of recovery private key, we are going to log into the digital vault server with the master account. Okay, so means for installing the digital vault server, we don't need master keys. For installing the vault server, we need a server key, that is the operator CD keys. Operator CD keys are required for installing the digital vault server, that is recovery public key and server key, which is existing in the operator keys. Okay, very important. Okay, so this is one of the question in the CyberArk certification exam. Okay, which keys are required for installing the digital vault server? Right, so these are the software requirements. So first we need to have Microsoft C++ packages to be installed on the digital vault server, and Microsoft .NET should be installed on the digital vault server, and we should have software packages, that is server packages, and we should have operator keys, master keys, and the license file. Okay, so license file. So let me go back to, yes, this is the license file. Okay, so we also need to get this license file from the CyberArk sales. Okay, so this license file contains information. This is an XML file. This license file contains information about the key, the security product key, and the number of components that this particular license supports. Means inside this license file we can able to see how many PVW servers we can install, how many CPM servers we can install with this license, and how many PSMs can be installed with this license, and whether this license supports for HA cluster or not, etc. Such information we can see in this license file. Let me open this license file for you guys. This is an XML file. So you can see here, this is the license key. Okay, so this key will be differ for each and every project implementation. This will be shared by CyberArk sales. Okay, so this license file contains information about the number of licensed users, particularly the number of licensed users. For example, uh, yeah, see here, this is the licensed users. Okay, enterprise password vault end user, licensed users is 50. Name is equal to EPV user, that is enterprise password vault user. Means with this license file, with this license file, 50 users can able to use our CyberArk product. 50 EPV users means 50 users can access our CyberArk PVWA environment, and they can able to use their privileged accounts that were onboarded. Okay, so basically the license file contains information about the number of EPV users that the license supports. So in organizations, in live environment, okay, it depends upon the scale of implementation. So they will purchase these licenses. It may be 4,000 licenses, it may be 5,000 licenses based on the scale of implementation. Okay, right. And this license file also contains information about, you can see here, for example, CPM, Central Policy Manager, licensed user is 1. Means with the help of this license, we can install 1 CPM, licensed users is 1. Okay. So if it is 2, then we can install 2 CPMs in that environment with this license. And similarly for PVWAC here, licensed users is 2. Means we can install 2 PVWA servers with this license. 2 PVWAs with this license. And PSM licensed users are 2. We can install 2 PSMs with this license, and IAM and OPM, that is application identity manager and on-demand privilege manager, 5, we can install 5 AMs and OPMs with this license. So basically this license file contains information about the number of licensed users and the number of components that this particular license supports. Okay, any questions? Right. So these are the software requirements. So now I'll proceed with installing the Vault server. So first we need to copy these softwares. This is my local machine. Okay. So first let me copy these softwares onto our digital Vault server. So No need to copy all other components onto the Vault server. Since we are installing only the Vault, just copy the Vault package to our Vault server. So I am on Vault server now. I'll make it as Cyberark software. Okay, so I have copied a Vault package onto this Vault server. So inside Vault, we need this server. Let me extract this software. Okay, so inside that server, that is Vault server, we can see application.exe file, that is setup file. Okay, so we need to run this setup file for installing the Vault server. Right. So we have copied our software onto the Vault server, and we have our licenses in place, and we have our operator keys as well, operator keys and master keys. Now, one more point I want to highlight before starting the implementation. In the network adapter, go to IPv4 network properties. Remember, except IPv4 and IPv6, these are called as network interfaces. Okay, so we need to remove these network interfaces which are not required for installing the Vault server. Just keep only IPv4 and IPv6. This is one of the prerequisites. Okay, so we are not allowing the file and printer sharing and client for Microsoft Network, etc. onto this machine. Okay, this is one of the prerequisites. So I just kept only IPv4 and IPv6, and I have disabled all other network interfaces which are not required. Okay, just click on OK. Close. Next, go back again. Okay, in the IPv4 properties, in the advanced section, make sure there should be no DNS. Okay, this server is not part of domain. Yesterday we discussed. Okay, what server should not be part of domain. So this is a work group server. So in the IPv4 properties, make sure no DNS is specified. Okay, and in the wins, enable LMS host lookup. So make it to enable NetBIOS over TCP. Okay, just click on OK. Close. Right. So now we are good to go. Let me run the software directly. So I have copied our software here. Server. This is digital Vault server package or Vault server package. This is the setup file. Okay. And we are going to implement version info. We can see here version info. If I open the version, it is 13.2 version, which is the latest version. So now run this setup file. Run as administrator. digital vault. Observe each and every screen. Okay, what it is asking us and how we are going to perform. Right. So after running that setup file, application file, we got an error message stating that install Shield Wizard CyberArk Digital Vault 13.2 version setup aborted. 32-bit and 64-bit C++ readstable packages must be installed before installing the Privatark server. We discussed already. Software prerequisites for installing the digital vault server, or we need Microsoft C++ packages, readstable packages, and along with that we also need Microsoft .NET framework. Okay, so this is not allowing us to install the digital vault server because prerequisites are not matching on this server. C++ packages were not there on this server. Okay, so now click on OK and first install that C++ packages and then install the .NET framework. Okay, so let me get that C++ packages. Say 64-bit. So copy this to our vault server. Okay, so install this packages, Microsoft C++ packages, I agree license terms and conditions, install. Okay, setup successful, close. C++ packages are installed. Now go again and run the software. Go to vault server, run the setup file, run as administrator with admin privileges. Setup aborted. 32-bit and 64-bit C++ readstable packages must be installed before installing the private task server. We have already installed. Okay. So we will also install the .NET framework on this machine. Let me get that Microsoft .NET framework. Just give me a minute. Okay, so this is the .NET framework which I have downloaded earlier. So I have copied this .NET framework onto our Vault server. Okay, let me install this. Microsoft.NET. I have read the terms and conditions. Install. Do you want setup to close your programs? Windows PowerShell. I think PowerShell is open here. Okay. Yes. This will take a little time. Let me try this offline package. I'm canceling this. Web version, I'm canceling this. So I have downloaded the offline installer package, Microsoft .NET Framework from the Microsoft site, and trying to install. Setup has detected that this computer does not meet the requirements to complete. Microsoft .NET Framework is not supported on this operating system. Okay. 2016, right? Yes. So I think let us go with .NET 5 version. This is 4.5. Let me install this. .NET Framework 4.5.2 or later update is already installed on this computer. Okay. Let me take a reboot of this server once. So I'm running the vault server file again. Run as administrator. Setup has detected Microsoft C++ redistributable package must be installed before installing the private app server. That is this. You must restart your computer before you restart. That is the latest version which I have downloaded. But let's see what's the issue. Setup has supported 32-bit and 64-bit C++ readable packages must be installed before installing the product server. Why it is not allowing us to install this file? Just give me a minute. Let me get this package from my other machine. Just bear with me, guys. Just give me a minute. Okay, right. So see here, guys, I have downloaded this x86 version as well, Microsoft C++ packages, and just installed x86 version. So now let us run the Cyberark software. Okay. So now it is not asking us redistributable packages about C++ 32-bit and 64-bit version. So now we got one more message, warning message. Install .NET Framework 4.8 before installing the private arc server. This is the software requirement. So it is asking us to install the .NET 4.8. So let me install that. So we have already downloaded this. Just run this .NET 4.8 version. So usually this Microsoft C++ packages and .NET framework will be installed by the Wintel team before handovering servers. Okay. So we will just make sure that firewalls are in place or not, software packages are existing on the vault server or not, and then we'll start with the implementation. Okay. So even if you come across these kind of issues, we'll check with Wintel team. Setup has detected that this computer does not meet the requirements to complete this operation. .NET Framework 4.8 is not supported on this operating system. Okay. So this .NET framework, it depends upon the operating system that we are installing. For example, if we have taken 2012 Windows Server, it may ask us to go for .NET 4.5 version. So since we are using 2016, and even if it is 2019 Windows Server, the .NET latest version should be installed. That is .NET 4.8. The file is getting downloaded. Let's wait for a while. So let me copy this .NET onto the vault server. Let me run this file. Okay, accept the license terms. Click on install. Okay, installation is complete. .NET 4.8 has been installed. Click on finish. You must restart your computer. Okay, restart now. So far what we have done, we just installed Microsoft C++ packages and Microsoft .NET Framework 4.8 version on this machine. Okay, so in actual live environment, Intel team is going to take care of these configurations. We don't bother about this. Right, so now whatever we are performing now, starting with the Vault installation, these steps are important. I want all of you to please pay attention on these steps regarding the Vault installation. And I will share you these packages, whatever I have downloaded, C++ packages in Microsoft .NET Framework. Okay. Now run the software. Okay. So now we got the message. Welcome to Cyberark Digital Vault 13.2 setup. This program will install Cyberark Digital Vault on our computer. It is strongly recommended that you exit all Windows programs before running this setup program. So if any files are open on this machine, just close those files and go ahead and start with the installing this CyberArk Digital Vault software. Okay, click on next. Observe and read each and every screen, then we will understand easily. Okay, click on next. License agreement. This is a general software license agreement of this product. Accept all the terms and conditions. Click on yes. Next, user information. Enter your registration information. Please enter your name and name of the company for whom you work. Okay, so you can specify any name and company that you want. Okay, so in live deployment, usually they will go with their organization name and with some standard names. Okay, so I'll go with the Windows user and company names. Let us say Cyberark, whatever. You can specify any name here, any name, company name. This is just for user information. So just click on next. Right. So now here it is asking us Vault installation mode. See here, the digital Vault server can be installed as a standalone machine or a server in high availability. In shortcut, we call it as HA, high availability cluster environment. So yesterday we discussed the difference between standalone and cluster. Can any one of you please tell me what is the difference between standalone and cluster? Any one of you? What is the difference between standalone and cluster?
Single host and group host.
Single host and group host. Yes, host in the sense single vault server and group of vault servers. Group of in the sense only two. Right. So standalone means a single vault server, whereas cluster or high availability means two vault servers. Okay. So let me explain you more detail about this standalone cluster. Every organization will have primary data center and secondary data center. So in primary data center, let us say if they want to deploy our CyberArk digital vault in standalone, okay, go ahead and deploy in the standalone configuration in the primary data center. Same time in the DR, they need to configure DR in the sense secondary side. They need to configure this vault server. Okay, so if in case if the primary environment is down, if the production environment is down, means if the production standalone vault is down, then it will automatically fail over to the disaster recovery vault in the secondary site, secondary data center. Okay, so if primary vault is down, then it will automatically fail over to the secondary vault, so that there will be no business impact and users will access the CyberArk vault. Okay, so if they deployed this CyberArk in a cluster environment, that is high availability environment in production, let us say if the primary vault is down, means any one of the node is down, any one of the vault server is down, then still within the primary data center, it will switch over to the second vault, that is node B, passive node. Okay, if both these vault servers are down in the cluster environment, if both the vault servers are down, then it will move on to the disaster recovery side. So that is the difference between standalone vault and cluster vault. Standalone vault means a single vault server can be deployed, whereas clustered vault or high availability vaults means two vault servers will be placed, which is in active passive mode. Means if one vault server is down, then we can switch over to the second vault server within the production environment. If both the vault servers are down in the production, then we will switch over to the disaster recovery environment. Okay, so that is the difference between standalone vault and cluster vault. So it is asking us choose what type of installation. So first let's focus on the standalone vault. On the screen you can see the images. Okay, standalone means it is single vault, whereas cluster node means there are two vault servers. Okay, that is the difference. So select standalone. So here next is not getting popped up, so we need to select what type of installation we need. So let's go with standalone vault installation. So if we want to go with cluster vault, cluster node, we need to have one more server that needs to be created, because two vault servers to be installed on the cluster. Okay, so select standalone vault installation. Right, so now we are in the next wizard, that is destination location. Setup will install CyberArk Digital Vault in the following folder. So by default, it has detected C program files 86 private R. So on this server, C program files 86, C program files 86 private arc. Now it is not showing. So once we install this in this location, we will get a private arc folder here, and all the software configuration files will get stored under this program files private arc folder. So if we want to change this location, we can change, or else go with the default path. But remember where this software is going to be installed, that is the destination location. So in organizations, they may go with, if they have multiple drives, that is D drive. So in our case, we have only C drive. Okay, in our case, we have only C drive. But in organization, they may create a different drives, and it depends upon their architect how they are going to install the vault in the specific drives. Okay, so I'm going with the default path, that is C program files private R. Okay, click on next. Next, choose safe location. What is safe? Any one of you? In CyberArk, what does safe means? Any idea?
Containers inside a CyberArk vault.
Very good.
Store
Container.
separate account.
Very good. Container. So safe is nothing but a logical container where privileged accounts information will be stored. I repeat again. Safe is a logical container where privileged accounts information will be stored. Means we are going to onboard the privileged accounts inside the safe. Means it is securely stored inside the container. It is nothing but like a box. Okay, container. Same, we have related this in our previous session, like what is a bank. Inside bank we will have our locker is nothing but a box. Okay, inside locker we will have our valuables in the bank. So same apply here in the past product, Cyberark past product. What is a secure storage location of Cyberark solution? Inside what we will have safes. Inside safes we will have privileged accounts information. Privileged accounts credentials will be stored inside the box container. Okay, so now on the vault server we will these safes will be stored. On the vault server these safes will be stored. Now it is asking us where to store these safes. Okay, so we'll go with the default path, that is C private arc folder safes. So right now if I go to C drive, there is no such private arc folder. Okay, so after installing that, so we'll go back and see whether the safes are created or not inside this private arc safes, right? No need to change this path. So far what we have done, we have run the setup file, and we, after executing the setup file, we have specified, the first step is we have accepted the license term, product license term, that is general, accept all the terms and conditions, and then we have specified the company name and the username who is going to perform this installation. You can give whatever the company name, whatever the name that you want, and then next step is we need to select the mode of installation. What mode of installation we are installing? It's a standalone mode or cluster mode. So go with the standalone mode of installation, since we are discussing standalone mode. After selecting the standalone mode of installation, next step is it will ask us the destination location where to install this software, on that particular server. That is C program files 86 private arc, that is the default folder. And then it will ask us for a safes location. Safes are nothing but logical containers where accounts information will be stored on that particular server, that is C private arc safes. I am not going to modify anything so far. I have not done any modification. I'm going with the default paths. Okay, I want you guys to read the statement and understand the statement, and then go ahead with the installation whenever you are performing the installation on your lab. Okay, don't just go blindly clicking on next install. No, you need to understand the steps, what it is asking and what we are performing, right? So click on next. License file path. Okay, enter license.xml file path. License file will be copied from the destination folder to the installation folder. So by default it is showing us D server folder. So we don't have any D drive here, and we don't have any server folder. So we need to choose our license file. So this I discussed before our starting as a prerequisite. In order to implement the CyberArk solution, we need keys, operator keys, master keys, and license file, that is license.xml file. So license file contains information about the number of licensed users, that is EPV users, how many users can able to log into CyberArk solution with this particular license, and it also contains information about the number of components to be installed. Okay, how many CPMs it supports, how many PWA we can install with this license, etc. Right. So now we need to choose our license file path where we have placed on our machine. So in my machine, I have kept licenses in CyberArk software folder licenses, and inside licenses I have this license.xml file. So now go and browse that path, click on browse. So wherever you have copied your licenses, just select that path. So inside licenses, so see here, if I go inside licenses folder, it is not showing us the license.xml file. Since it is an XML file, it is not able to read that file directly. So we just need to select the licenses folder. Okay, we just need to select the licenses folder, because inside the licenses folder we have this XML file, but it will not show us here in the XML file directly. So just select the licenses folder. Okay, click on OK. So we have selected the licenses file path. Now click on next. Right. Operator CD path. Enter operator CD path. Operator CD should contain the server key, recovery public key, and initial random data file. I showed you earlier. Operator keys contain server key, recovery public key, and initial random database file. Whereas master keys contain their extra key, that is recovery private key. Okay, right. For installing the digital vault server, we need operator keys. We need a server key, particularly server key existing which is inside the operator CD. That is important. So now we need to choose our operator keys path. Okay, so default it is D. So we need to select where we have placed our keys on this machine. So in the Cyberark software, licenses, inside licenses, operator keys. Select operator keys. Right. So we have specified operator keys path. Okay. So click on next. Now configure remote control agent. In shortcut, we call it as RCA, remote control agent. As the name itself indicates, remote control agent means this agent will get installed on the vault server, and with the help of this agent, remote control agent, we can able to operate the vault server from a remote server. I repeat again, with the help of this remote control agent, we no need to log into the digital vault server. We can log in from some other remote server, and we can able to monitor the vault server from a remote server. Means we can able to see the status of the vault, we can able to start the vault, stop the vault, or we can able to get the information of the vault from the remote server. That is remote control agent. The definition, see here, the remote control agent enables users to perform administrative vault operations from a remote terminal. Means from a different server, from a remote server, we can able to perform some vault configurations on the vault server. So here either we can skip remote control agent for now, or we can able to configure remote server address and remote control client password and confirm password. We can configure it now itself, or we can able to skip it, and later also we can able to configure this. Okay. So for now, I will define this remote control address, and later we will see how we can use this remote control agent. So I'm not skipping it. I will just go with some random IP. Let us say 10.0.0.10. Okay. So this server I have not defined anywhere for now, but I'm just specifying right now. And then later we will see how we can able to operate the digital vault server from this 10.0.0.10. Okay, so give the password, random password, CyberArk1, CyberArk1. Okay, so click on next. Right, so distributed vaults for PSM. Install Rabbit MQTM to enable internal communication between components in the distributed vaults environment. Note, select this option only if we are using distributed vaults with PSM. Means if we are installing the distributed vaults, during that time, if you are going to implement PSM, then you need to have this Rabbit MQTM to be installed on the vault server. Okay, so we have to select this option only if we are using the distributed vaults environment. So here we are not going to install any distributed vaults, and we are not going to use PSM with the distributed vaults environment. So leave it as it is. Just click on next. So this point is very, very important. Vault server machine hardening. Read the statement. CyberArk recommends hardening the operating system. CyberArk recommends to harden the OS, operating system. The hardening process disables many operating system services which are not required to operate the vault server. What does it mean? Any one of you? Just read the statement and explain me what does it mean. CyberArk recommends hardening the operating system. The hardening process disables many operating system services which are not required to operate the vault server. Any one of you? What does it mean?
It doesn't use any services, other services that the vault server doesn't require.
Yes. So when we harden this machine, it is not going to use the services which are not required to operate the vault server. For example, on every Windows machine, if I open the services on every Windows machine, we'll have these services. So in the back end, okay, there are number of Windows services that are running. These are different services that are running. Okay. So once we harden this digital vault server, it will block these unnecessary operating system services which are actually not required for our digital vault implementation. Okay, so that is what hardening will do. And also it will block the firewall rules, Windows firewall rules on a machine. Windows firewall. Okay, so if I open Windows firewall, inbound rules and outbound rules, okay, these are different firewall rules that are existing here. So once we harden this vault server, it will block all the unnecessary firewalls which are not required. Only CyberArk protocol, that is proprietary protocol. Yesterday we discussed what is the default port. Any one of you? What is the CyberArk proprietary protocol port that will allow components to be communicated to the vault server? What is the port number?
1858.
1858. Very good. So only 1858 will be allowed from the components to the digital vault server. Okay. Apart from 1858, all other firewalls will get blocked if we harden this vault server. And see, CyberArk recommending us to harden. It is must and should. It is must and should. You have to harden your vault server because this is the most secured server and this is the most critical component of CyberArk solution. Okay, right. They have given one option: do not harden the machine. So this option is not recommended by CyberArk and should not be selected and should only be selected after consulting with CyberArk professional services. So let us say if you don't want to harden your vault server, okay, then you need to get in touch with CyberArk professional services and you need to explain them why you don't want to harden your vault server, and they will definitely suggest you this is not the best practice as per the CyberArk recommendations. You need to go ahead with hardening of vault server. That is must and should. Okay, right. So for now, I am not hardening my machine. Okay, I am selecting do not hardening my machine. Okay, so in your lab, you guys can go ahead and install harden your machine. Okay, for the first time, whenever we are deploying, so I am not hardening my machine because it will block all my firewalls. Later, I want to show you some configurations and all, so it will be easier for me if I am not going to harden. But later, I'll show you how to harden again. Okay, right. So for now, I'm selecting do not hardening. So just click on next. Next, select program folder. This is the default program folder. Go with the default one, accessibility. Click on next. Right. So now it is installing the package, updating registry, creating configuration files. Some configuration files will be created. We'll see what are those configuration files. Observe carefully each and every step. Installing Vault database. Someone asked me previously what database Vault uses. That is MySQL database. So it is installing its own Vault database. Starting private database service. Okay, let's see what is this service. Initializing Vault database. So first it installed the Vault database, then it started private server database service, and then it initializes the database. So now we got one more wizard. So set built-in users passwords. Setup creates an user account called master account. You can use this account for emergencies when you need full access to the vault. Enter master password, confirm master password. Next, setup creates an user account called administrator account. You can use this account for administrative operations on the vault. Please enter administrator password, confirm password. Means now this setup is going to create two accounts. One master account and second one we call it as administrator account. Master account is used in case of emergencies, whereas administrator account is used for daily operation purposes to perform operations on the vault server. So specify the password. So I'll go with our default password, Cyberark 1. I think this password we need to specify some special characters as well. Let me go with Cyberark at the rate 1234. Okay, so I have given the same password here, Cyberark at the rate 1234. I have included numerics as well in this password. Okay, so just click on next, securing vault database. Okay, right. So setup complete. Setup has finished installing Cyberark Digital Vault on our computer. Yes, I want to restart my computer. No, I want to restart my computer later. Okay, take a reboot of this machine after installing Vault. So the main points are during the installation, the main points are first we need to select the mode of installation and then the destination path for where the software is going to be installed and the saves path, that is C private arc saves, where the saves are going to be installed. Next we need to specify what we call the license file path, where we have placed the license file path and operator keys path, operator CD path, and then hardening, whether we need to harden this machine or not. We have to go with hardening, but in our case, I have not hardened my server. And then it asks for remote control agent. So if we want, we can skip that remote control agent, or we can specify remote control IP address and the password there. And then it will ask us for built-in account passwords, that is administrator account password and master account password. That's it. Okay, right. So let me log in to this machine. Just bear with me for 5 minutes. Right. So on the desktop, on the vault server, we can see an icon called private arc server. Okay. So after installing the digital vault server, we got an icon that is private arc server. This is the server central administration console. Okay. Let me open this private arc server. Okay. This is how the central administration console base looks like. So here you can see some information, date, today's date, time, today's time, and some messages, ITA, IG, ITA, DB, ITA, S something. Okay, so these are nothing but logs. Okay, so after opening the server central administration, we need to make sure we have to get this message successfully connected to database and server 13.2 version is up. means your server is running successfully. It has successfully connected to database, that is a Vault database. It uses MySQL database, and server is up and running. Server version 13.2 is up and running. Okay, so these two things we need to check. And here is one red light, and if I place my cursor there, it is showing stop server. Okay, means we can able to stop the server, and once we stop, here green light will pop up and we can able to start the server. Later we'll see some operations there. So for now, after installing the Vault, just make sure it is connected to database and server is up and running. And next thing that you need to check is services. Go to services, and here there are some default services that will be created. See here, Cyberark event notification engine service, Cyberark logic container service that is up and running, and private arc database service, private arc remote control agent, RCA, remote control agent. Since I have defined that remote control agent, it is running. Private arc server service. This is the main service. This is the main service of Vault. So if I stop this service, in the backend, our Vault will get stopped. Okay. So from the server administration console, so this server will get stopped if I stop this private arc server service. This is the main service. Okay. So all the services are up and running. And then we'll look at some safes. Yeah. So this is the safes location which we have defined during the installation. See private arc safes. So see private arc safes. We have three safes that got created. That is notification engine safe, system safe, and Vault internal safe. I'll show you later what does these safes contain once we install the private arc client. Okay. And then we'll look at the log file, ITL log. So we need to go to the installation location, that is C program files, private arc server. This is where we have installed our software. C program files 86 private arc server. So here we can see the logs, ITA log, iteration log. We call it as ITA log. So if I open that ITA log, we can see the same information. Successfully connected to database, server is up and running. Okay, server is up and running. Okay, the same messages that we see from the consoles, from the server central administration, we can see from the text document, which we call it as the log file, that is ITA log file, which is the main log file of Vault server, right? So that's it for today. I'll stop it here. So we have successfully installed our digital Vault server. In the next sessions, we'll move ahead and we'll see installing the components, that is PVWS, CPM, and PSM. Okay, right. Any questions? Any one of you? Any questions?
The services you showed are all mandatory services, or it can be optional as well.
Yes, it should be up and running, all services. Once we install that. Do you want me to show it again? No,
Yeah,
what's your
obviously. No, the services you showed needs to be in the Vault server every time, or it's like optional. It can be, it cannot be.
no, these services should always be up and running on the Vault server.
Okay.
Private Arc database service, Private Arc server service. These two are main, and the CyberArk logic container service. Okay,
The
these
event notification engine.
event notification engine, This is called as ENE, Event Notification Engine. This service is responsible for triggering emails. When we integrate SMTP with CyberArk, then this service should be up and running. So if this service is not running, you will not get emails regarding the notifications of password failures or whatever. Okay.
Okay.
So that service should also be up and running. All the services should always be up and running on the vault server for sure. Okay. Right. So I'm going to share you these softwares and packages, and I want all of you to please be ready with your vault server and install the vault server on your machine. Okay. Right. So thank you all. We'll meet again in the next session with other components installation. Thank you. Thank you guys.
Thank you.